The 910 Comedy
Podcast Network.
Welcome to Marital Tips, where we invite you into our marriage to debate the not so important topics, discuss each other, and more. I'm Tim.
I'm Karen.
And we're a couple of married geeks who often get very passionate when we disagree about the super important topics like our favorite TV shows, personality traits, and whether it's actually important to press the record button.
Yeah, Tim made us all mad last week because we had 10 minutes?
5 minutes, something like that.
Wasted time, essentially.
And then had to do it all over
Life
again.
is short. Press the record button on the first try.
So how are you doing this week, babe?
I'm okay. I'm a little under the weather, I guess. I think the maybe cabin fever is catching up with me a little bit.
Yeah.
We're still mostly staying in. Obviously, you're going to work and things like that. But it gets to be a lot after a while. How are you?
I'm doing good. Working all the time.
Yeah.
It's wearing. And then the whole, quarantine thing when I'm not working.
Yeah, we had a great conversation last week
with Brandon and Amber
about different implications about what this has all meant for quarantine, especially in people with different perspectives than you and me.
Yep.
And this week we
are doing part 2 of that conversation. We are welcoming Minda and Bo to the show.
Yay.
Hi.
How are you guys doing today?
Well, I mean, we're good. Can we say the day of the week? It's Friday.
It's Friday. We record throughout the week, but when this airs, it'll be Saturday. So.
Oh, wow. Good for you, Tim.
That's turnover.
That's serious turnover.
He'll be holed up in his office for the rest of the night, probably.
It won't be that bad.
No, we're
one show to edit.
That's true. But yeah, you guys are in kind of a different position than both Amber and Brandon and Tim and I, because you started kind of hunkering down, and is it fair to say getting more serious, right when this whole thing kind of kicked off back in March, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had started, God, this is so hard because I don't talk about my personal life. You have no idea.
It's a coming out party.
Your fans
It is.
Yeah, it was underway just as the pandemic mess, quarantine and mess started coming up.
Yeah, and Tim and I were having a conversation about how much we loved having Amber and Brandon on last week. And I was like, man, it'd be so interesting to have an additional perspective of what's it like to really start dating somebody in quarantine who's actually.
Linda kind of suggested that because your guys' relationship really, you had been together at least a little bit before.
Well, we've been together a little bit, but we both work a lot, and he takes jobs that are out of state all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I work here locally almost strictly, doing the radio thing and the college thing. And with you, we do the podcast thing and different networks, but he was gone. Once he, kind of made his intentions known, hey, lady.
What's up?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how that was it.
Hi, I want to be together, but dip.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to know you. And then he was gone. And so I was like, well, cool, dude.
Yeah.
But then he came back, and almost right as you came back, you kind of made your presence more permanent at my house.
Yeah.
And then it had that quarantine thing happened. I was like, this is a lot of personal time. It's a lot of relationships. And I am not I don't do that. I am not a serial dater. I am not that person. And I hadn't been in a real relationship in a long time. And I was like, why is this guy around all the time?
And then he had to be around all the time because quarantine happened and there was no choice, really.
It was like Rosetta Stone learning Spanish by immersion. just instead of Spanish, it was love.
Oh, stop this.
I
He's
know where you're going with
looking up
that.
names for this show. Like Tim, you have no idea. He's so excited. Like he's all of the titles he wanted to run past me. I was like, it's not our show. They named the show.
I'm open to suggestions. I was going to just go with Love in the Time of Corona Part 2, but if you got better, I mean, you're the comedian. I mean, you guys.
I like how he says, well.
There's Quarantine Hearts. There's love.
Karen, don't encourage this shit. Karen, I'm sorry, I said the S word. Sorry.
There's Love-Demic.
I hate Love-Demic. I hate that you're listening.
I've been pushing that one.
He's been pushing Love-Demic 2020 like for a while. Oh, look at her. God,
I love it. I love
Karen is loving Love-Demic.
You like Love-Demic? You didn't hear the other one.
What was it?
Which one's? Oh, 14 Days to Forever.
These all sound like legitimate dating shows that like someone at Netflix is like proposing and trying to cast for like really quick.
That's going to be to the 2021 reality show. Is going to be they're recording some couple right now, and I don't know why you guys didn't get in on it. They're recording some couple in quarantine that we're all going to watch like we watched Tiger King this year.
You guys can't
Contagious Fiance.
not in this year.
Nobody.
But yeah, it's really interesting because, I mean, to me, it's interesting. I don't know if you guys found this to be true with that being the case for you, but having really these are your options. Like you're not seeing each other at all, or you're together 24/7.
Right.
And so it's like, what is the right choice for us as a new couple? And how is that going to potentially impact the future of us as a couple? Regardless, like whatever we choose, it's going to have an outcome, right? That's going to be dependent on that particular decision. So how did you guys come up with kind of your routine and how you're going
Are you saying, how do we not kill each other? Is that what you're asking?
with many, many more words, I'm trying to say yes. How did you not kill each other?
I am super mean. So it was really hard because, as evidenced by Love-Demic 2020, he is super into Hallmark. This is real. Like, I'm not kidding. He's super into Hallmark movies and romance and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, what?
And you're into death. And
I'm not into death. I'm not. People that you didn't introduce me on your show, so people don't know what I do for a living.
He's a dead girl. Everyone.
For those who don't listen to our sister shows, no matter how many times we plug them, Minda is the co-host of Dead Girls Talking, and That's Just My Face. She's also. You're a mortician, correct?
Yeah.
And then Bo is, I know he's a stand-up comedian. You guys are both stand-up comedians.
But I would say Bo more now because I flipped over to the production side more.
Yeah.
And then what else do you do, Bo?
I'm a pipe fitter by trade.
Okay.
So that's like nuclear plants and boilers, and
he builds nuclear plants and does math in his head
and stuff like that. And gas.
So you're really, really smart.
Yeah, he is. He's like really, really smart. And so, but he also thinks he's really, really funny. And so one thing I wasn't ready for is also I'm a little high strung and he's super laid back. And that's a weird thing to mesh together all of a sudden without easing into it.
Tim and I.
So he would do this stuff where he would hide around the house just to scare me. During a pandemic. I'm already running kind of high. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So how was the adjustment for you guys, given that you guys have, different personalities and now you're forced to be around each other 24 hours a day?
Well, it's probably not as hard as you would think because we both are deemed essential. Like we both work some. We also have 4 children between us though. And so I have 2, he has 2, and learning how to balance that quickly.
Yeah.
Because again, I hadn't been in a relationship in a long time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've known you, a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And this is the only relationship I've known you in.
Because I don't talk about my personal life. So I'm really going out on a...
That's true too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Minda.
You're welcome. See you guys. Look at Bo. He's just so. Look at that happy.
Bo's like we're finally telling people.
That's my other thing. It's me, everyone. It's me who's the one.
She's got your number.
No.
Yes.
I mean, even I can't back you up on the Hallmark movies, man. I'm sorry.
That's how you love.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know.
He was
Are there even like I've only known Hallmark to be like the Christmas movie?
Well, they have a whole channel.
Yeah.
Dude, I was gonna say, like, what do they show not at Christmas time?
What are you laughing
Christmas
at?
movies.
There's a Hallmark movie for every season and occasion.
Flag Day.
There's probably one. Love it. Flag Day.
Corey Spelling stars in.
No, it's Lifetime.
Oh, sorry.
It's like Lifetime, but without the murder.
How
Exactly.
until we have coronavirus Hallmark movies. That's what I want to know.
Oh, I've already seen pitches for it of like they stumbled into each other's chat calls.
Are those real or are they just people?
No, it's just memes.
What a terrible Zoom! Like, wouldn't that be terrible? Really, if you're gonna pitch a coronavirus movie, it's gonna be like, finally a virus that we're telling our dates about, or something like that.
Oh,
it's already out on the table. So
I don't need to derail what you're saying. So you're asking us if it was hard. I think it was probably more difficult for me than him because I, hadn't had anybody like very consistently, and no one in my home. First of all, like that was like a big deal for me to even let you spend the night. So, or meet your kid.
Smile. That smile from Bo.
Oh
Yeah, silent smile, ear to ear.
See, but you're on an audio podcast.
Well, we got to subtitle it.
Oh, you can't subtitle it.
podcast.
No.
We can do audio or visual descriptions.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people know you're smiling because we're calling it out.
Yeah, there you go. So that's my answer to your question. That it was difficult for me to kind of, I will say, to sum that up, to relax, because I don't do that well anyway.
It to be
me.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I mean, it honestly wasn't that difficult because when she talks about me being laid back, like until you experience it, I'm extremely laid back. Like, I don't even know how to put it in words. Like,
I backed into his car and I freaked out. And he was like, "What's wrong with you? Like, why are you freaking out?" And I'm like, "Why aren't you freaking out?"
Was this also during, I mean, it must have been recently, right? Like also during quarantine. So
we've only known each other
pretty much during quarantine.
Yeah, we like, I knew him professionally, but I didn't really know him until, because he had, he'd gone through some life changes.
Right.
And it wasn't until after that I, kind of knew him. So everything that we're telling you is extremely recent.
Yeah. So I think it was easier for me to meld, the lives, because if she don't like something, I'm just like, okay, won't do that no more. Let's move on.
He's so chipper about it too.
Right.
I like that.
He is very chipper about it.
What about the challenges when you bring the kids into it?
Oh,
do they get along in this situation, or?
They get, so there's an age difference.
Significant age difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's hard though as a kid.
Yeah.
My sisters and I are all 5 years apart, and I remember there were definitely times in my life where that was an issue. So yeah, I mean, age is a huge thing among kids.
Well, there's a significant age difference between he and I as well. I am slightly older. And so my children are much older than his children, and his children are like twin age. Like they're right on top of each other.
Bang, bang.
And they're lower elementary school age.
Yeah.
And so they get along. They don't see each other that much though, because
not very much. No, not with the current situation. But I think to sum it up, like your kids are kind of used to this environment, but my kids were like home on the range on like 19 acres, and they're 6 and 7, 13 months apart, and they're just rowdy, grizzly little boys. Yeah. So with them, it's like setting off fireworks in the house.
Literally.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No, they are like setting fireworks off.
No, they actually set fireworks off in my upstairs. Yeah.
Oh.
They were popping. They were popping. They left some marks on the walls, but they were polished.
They could have got a hand on the lighter.
What was there a fire?
He kept me away from upstairs at that time, so I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
There was one behind your eyes.
She was hot.
I'm sure. Oh my goodness. First of all,
and that goes back to not having people in your house that you're not people, but you know what I mean? Like I'm just, and again, I work a lot. So when I come home, I'm like, I just kind of crash.
Yeah. Cause I don't think I've known you to have less than 30 jobs at one time.
Right.
Minda likes to have her private upstairs fireworks that are not for children. And then you throw kids into the mix and there they are setting them off upstairs. But
I do like his kids. They're very cute and they're very sweet. It's just been a long time since I've had little kids around and I forgot. And he says that all the time. He's like, you forgot the rules.
They require a little bit more energy than your teenager.
Require a little bit more structure than mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're raising themselves at this point. They're grown.
They've got a path. Mine have had to be shooed onto the path very quickly.
I think you grow up a lot in this, unless that's not what you're talking about. But I think especially right now, kids are growing up a lot. Yeah. In my opinion, like we don't have kids, but just
this whole quarantine's caused a lot of people to just kind of change their mentalities.
Yeah.
And kids are not accepted from that. So
100%.
They do. All four of them seem to do okay. But again, when I get mine and when he has his, they're very, very rarely does it fall on the same time.
Very rarely.
Gotcha.
Has it ever?
Once or twice.
Yeah.
So let's get back to you guys and the changes there. And what would you say are some of the more easy aspects of having been forced into the situation by quarantine?
Well, as far as our personalities with that question, we do laugh a lot because we are, and we're both, we think on a different level than most people. So we see humor in really weird, but we both see things that are funny that probably other people would not think are funny. Mm-hmm. And that's really helpful. That has forgiven a lot of potential issues.
Tiffs, as we like to say on the show. Yeah. No, I think that's really like something that you have to be able to do in a relationship. Like sometimes you look at the state of the world and you just have to laugh. There's nothing else that you can do at a certain point, right? But to just be like, okay, let's find what's funny in here and try to not want to die from how upsetting and depressing it all is.
So it's interesting because if you look at our social medias, like in real life, I am way more high strung and, some kind of way, but on social media, he is the ranter, like the political, and but I'm not. Yeah, exactly.
That's Tim. 100%.
Exactly, Tim. Because Tim, I've seen your keyboard warrior stuff going on there.
I have been known to engage in one or two anonymous Facebook debates.
Tim releases his stress by ranting and raving on Facebook, and then he comes home. The stress is gone. We're able to have a nice time.
In fact, just this week, I told Karen it was going to be a good day because some random stranger on Facebook blocked me.
That's awesome.
Right.
I love trolling people.
Oh, no, don't encourage him.
And I don't do that. I'm just like, just ignore it. What are you doing? And he's like, no.
It's more fun when you can just like a sport. What's that?
It's like a sport.
Yeah.
Like some people hunt and fish and other people troll arguments that I'm not even a part of.
They don't play back with you though. Like once you start, they stop.
No.
Not always.
No, him particularly.
Oh. Well, yeah, I go somebody who's smart.
I go too deep too fast.
I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. We're not on that level.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wrong podcast. This is not Hometown Crowd.
Did I just inadvertently make a sports thing? Did I sports just now?
You inadvertently explicited, I think.
Oh.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm gonna have to pay more attention to the editing this time because there's a couple now that I gotta.
We'll just slap an explicit tag on there. Who cares?
It's all good.
Who out there is going
PG-13? I think allows 2, right?
Yeah, and if you have a problem with it, Tim will fight you on social media. So,
boom, nice comeback.
Yeah. So, how do you guys think that your relationship is stronger? Given this,
well, we didn't get a chance to really date because everything shut down.
Right.
So trying to figure out fun stuff to do that we weren't working or hosting.
Right.
Has been really I would say that's been a challenge.
Yeah. Because literally for a while there, when we were dating pre-quarantine, almost every time we hung out was either at one of your shows or my shows or popping in at
someone else's show.
That's it. We were work dating.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for real.
Ooh, so scandalous.
I know. See, Karen, that's why I didn't want
to. Nobody's going to judge you.
We have a whopping audience size. So, it'll.
Yeah, well, we'll see after this one.
This is going to go viral.
This is going to go viral. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be
comedy.
Let me tell you why, because he'll get on stage, and he was just on stage 2 weeks ago. And he said, this girl I'm dating. And he gets up there and starts talking about this girl So he gets off stage and the other comics are like, who are you dating? And then he goes all Southern. He's like, I would never.
Were you at the show?
I don't date and tell.
It was my show.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was one of those or if it was a separate show.
When he's on stage talking about stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know who you are.
There was a few shows, like when I was first trying to get your attention, that you'd just be sitting there watching your comedians and be like, what's up? Or I'd text you, like when it was super private, like when we couldn't even sit beside each other.
Yeah. You were showing out.
I was not.
See, in the very, very beginning, I was like, I don't date comics. Like, please stop. And, that's true. And I was like, please leave me alone. but also do my shows because you're very funny. And I believe in you. He was like, no.
He's like, but I like you though.
Yeah. And that was weird because, with a lot of guys, they'll just be like, okay, this is hard. I'm going to move on.
No.
But you were really nice because you didn't give up, especially because I was not easy to know. Because he said that one time, he's like, there's a lot easier people to know. Like if I was just wasting your time, I could go waste somebody else's time and get somewhere faster. And then we had to all of a sudden it was like, okay, now we have to stay together all the time because if we don't, we'll die from a terrible virus.
Right. It's like the stakes are high to, get to know each other and be a successful couple. Because it's like, we already...
Yeah. And then it was like the thought of, what if we have to break up in the middle of this week? Where are you going to go?
Right. Yeah. That was going to be my next question, actually, was it something that you guys thought about constantly, or not even constantly, but just occasionally? Like, did you have in your mind like a backup plan for if something didn't go quite right, or were you just
for you? Because this is mine.
Oh, this is for me.
Yeah. Because I look.
Yeah. Well, I don't really with my work. I don't really need a backup plan for anything like that because it's so much of it is based on traveling that, I'm whether it's not company paid or company paid, I'm always going to have some place to stay, whether I like it or not. Like being back in North Carolina, it's been difficult. Like getting back to North Carolina.
Yeah. That
job-wise,
was right.
It was because I was in Kentucky for a while and
South
Carolina. And just recently I almost had to go to Indiana. So that was kind of my backup plan. My backup plan is just having to go back on the road.
I'll just go back to work. That's fine.
I know. And the other thing was because in the beginning I was like, you're not looking for a girlfriend. You're looking for a place to stay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he's like, I make 3 times the amount of money you make.
In the nicest way.
Yeah,
possible.
He was nice about it, but it was kind of humbling. I was like, oh.
Like when I was in
it's one of those things like, I want to date you because I want to date you. Like, I want to be with you.
Yeah, but and I don't know if Karen can tell you this, but for women, it's almost inconceivable that someone likes you for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And the things that you feel about yourself that are flawed, someone else is like, oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I have a really hard time with that because I was a little background information. I was in an extremely long-term marriage and ended quite suddenly. I mean, we're talking a 20-year relationship that ended, you know, pretty rough. And he has a similar story, not quite as long because again, I'm a little tiny bit older, but so it was very difficult for me to trust anything.
Totally. Yeah, and then like you have that whole spotlight of kind of because I know you're a very like empathetic person, and you like, you know, and having as another empathetic person, it's really hard to see a lot of the pain and injustices and sadness and everything that's going on in the world. And so you have that spotlight on you as well. And then to have to kind of mix it in with, you know, having somebody see you in a way that you're not used to someone seeing you is, I can imagine, pretty challenging. So yeah,
anytime where I am in a position where I appear vulnerable, I am not happy with that. Exactly. Karen is ninja karate shopping at the camera right now. Yeah.
Vulnerability, no.
Yeah, but it's like that Brene Brown thing. Like, you know, her, like she's incredible. And she said, you know, if you're going to ever be somebody again, you have to be vulnerable. And I was like, oh my God, I do not need this dude coming in being nice to me. Yeah.
What is this? This is crazy.
And not just nice, like really going above and beyond for me. And the most important thing for me is my children. And coming in, and when he was finally allowed to kind of know them, being super, super, super nice to them and considerate and not fake, like not weird, you know how some people are. Ugh.
Yeah, totally. And I imagine
I'd be much further along.
What was that? Sorry.
I said if I did fake, I would be much further along in entertainment than I am.
That's funny. Did you feel any of those challenges, Bo, like coming from Minda? Like, were you a little bit maybe receptive of the things that she was pushing back on, or did she like outright just say like, you know what, this is a lot of things right now? So was it
Minda's over here going, okay, what are you gonna say?
Yeah. Mount Rushmore is very beautiful, and it took a lot to chip away to get it to that point.
That's super sweet.
That is very sweet. That's super sweet.
It was highly, highly resistant. And on being serious and not being sweet or cliche or whatever, there was different fronts there. There was me being a comedian, her being a booker, me not having a physical address versus here. There was a lot of showing her, hey, I'm being honest with you. I just like you. You know?
You all right over there?
What's going on with you guys?
I love the phraseology of not having a physical address. Like, is that a cool kid way of saying
homeless?
Homeless. I mean, you're pulling. Just he was working.
In Kentucky, I had a beautiful tile jacuzzi tub.
I was laughing because I was wondering if I needed to clarify that he said she was a booker.
Booker. Yeah, not booger. Not booger.
Booker.
Not hooker.
Not a hooker. No. Show promoter. Yeah. Like I build shows. If you guys don't know what a booker is, I build comedy shows and other events, and I then book the talent, and generally I'm the host.
So in a way, she's kind of
in the way.
Is it fair to say boss? Kind of?
Oh, see, that's the thing. That's what everybody said. Remember when they found out?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
No, not really.
Is it fair to say boss? I don't think, to me, that doesn't sound like it, but yeah.
My boss?
You'll be told by no one what to do, right?
On the flip side, if you ever want to work in this town again.
No. Actually, when we started talking, I made it I know this sounds like a dick move, but I made it perfectly clear. I was like, I'm doing shows all over the state in different states. I don't need you to book me.
He was abundantly clear about that. He said it. He's like, I don't need you. And I was like, I put you up on stage first. Yeah. Just saying.
And you did.
Putting that out there.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a runway.
Do you not, Tim, you were there. That was at Tap House. That was his very first show.
Was it really?
The open micer that he was not on the lineup at all. He had just started doing comedy, and he had messaged the page and said, hey, please excuse me, I would like to, if possible. And I said, sure, I'll give you a couple minutes.
Wow, I did not know that was his first time.
No, he was incredibly polite. Yeah, he is incredibly polite. But
yeah, I was going to say, you've been super polite. I've actually never met Bo before. So this is my first time with Bo. And I think that, the whole boss thing, I don't think that is the situation. I don't think that I would have assumed that that's a situation, but
but it makes for a good joke.
I was horrified by that thought. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want people to think that I'm booking you because we're dating. And he's like, nobody's going to think that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm famous.
You know what? On the flip side of that, I don't want people thinking I have to date a woman to get booked in Fayetteville.
They probably didn't think that right now.
No, you guys are definitely I haven't ever met you, but I've seen your shows, and I have seen Minda stand up as well. And you both have your own incredible talents and unique styles and things like that. So yeah, I think that it's just like a good way for you guys to have come together. I think that it's definitely a great ability to be able to laugh and make things into a joke. Cause that's, like I said before, sometimes that's all you can do. But yeah, I guess really what I wanted to know more than anything is how is like the stagnant quality of like dating during a quarantine, because there's plenty to do normally where you can like express your hobbies and interests and take someone to do something that you really enjoy and just have different types of dates. And obviously that still isn't the case, and certainly wasn't the case back in, March, April. So is there something to being able to do the same thing over and over, or did you kind of miss having that ability to do different things?
Well, honestly, when you're dating, like texting or whatever, or getting those first lines in the water, there's a lot of pursuit, and then people get what they want and they quit the pursuit. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be in a relationship, I don't think that should stop. I think that every day you should continue to pursue that person. So there's been, even though I wouldn't say it's been stagnant, because, if she wanted to redo her porch, her deck area. So we redid it together. And, you can always get flowers delivered.
Yeah, and he's done that. Like I left work one day or I went to work one morning, and it was a bad day. And then I got to work, and I was you're lucky I was there because I was only there for 3 hours in that building. And while I was there, he did have flowers delivered to my office. And we had, it wasn't in the very beginning. Like this is fairly recently.
Yeah.
He's way nicer than me. Like I'm a jerk.
No.
That's not true.
Not to me. But you can always do that, and you can always, get up and fix somebody a cup of coffee, or you can always, let them go to work and stay home and clean the house, or just do little stuff like that, because it's fun to go out and date and drink and party and stuff like that. But in a mature relationship, it's the little everyday things that really make a difference.
Yeah.
Like cleaning the house. There's nothing romantic about that.
God, but I have feelings. If I come home and that house looks good, I'm like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
make a lady fall in love having a clean house to come home to.
No, and he's like, it must have been all those Hallmark movies because he is really good at those things. Like he would leave little notes around the house. But not just for me, like when the kids are home, he's like, have a great week at school, guys, because when he would work, God, you were working in Durham. And so you're gone all night.
Yeah. I was working.
So he would be gone all night. He's working the night shift, driving 2 hours. So he had a 4-hour commute every day. And so he never saw us, like, or me or them. So he's leaving like notes around the house, like, have a great day, guys, go team, and it's just, he's a big proponent. And that's not something I'm used to. So he's like a big proponent of really keeping things alive. And I will say, in the interest of full disclosure, like we have a pretty good relationship on the onset. But, I said, do you want to do something? And he's like, maybe we should go to counseling just to make sure, like a fine tune, like how you take your car to the mechanic. Like maybe we should go to counseling and just check in with each other.
Totally.
So we did that recently.
Okay.
Yeah. I
think that's a lot better. Like, I think some people maybe could benefit from that advice. Definitely. And counseling is an essential service right now. So and they offer it online and, all kinds of things, but it's no joke out there right now. Like dating and relationships.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Oh, my job is like constant, like the death stuff really is. And I will come home and I am just like, And so, but I forgot where I was going. I had like an excellent, amazing point and it's just gone. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, that's okay.
Okay.
It was in the interest of full disclosure, I think was the opening line.
Yeah, like that whole thing. What I was going to say is like, and that is the difference between the types of relationships that people have. Because you can get in a relationship and you can treat every weekend like it's your honeymoon, but you're not building substance.
Right.
So this whole pandemic thing has forced us to be like, okay, like you can build substance, or the minute Governor Cooper lifts those restrictions, you can outie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, I think that something that whether we've wanted to learn this or not, this whole quarantine and really everything that's gone on in 2020 has really, I think, taught people more than we already knew what's important and where our values lie and everything like that. And so to have that kind of come to the surface and be reevaluated by ourselves and then to share that with another person, I think does, if you can survive through that and you can align with that, I think that makes for a really strong situation. And, it just reinforces it to have things like going to counseling and being able to have those conversations and make each other laugh. So I think I'm a fan of I stand the relationship. What I'm trying to say.
She gave us a thumbs up. Look at that.
Well, before
I feel like we're on Chopped and one of the judges has made it work.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, where can people find you guys?
Oh my God. Well, where you can, like I'm the co-host of Dead Girls Talking. I'm the co-host of That's Just My Face. I'm a little bit in charge of 910 Comedy. So any of those things, and the 910 Comedy Network, which this beautiful show is a part of.
Yep.
You can hear me on the WKML 95.7 if you are in and around North and South Carolina, 7 to midnight. God, it's ridiculous.
You're everywhere.
Yeah, it's stupid. I'm going to stop now.
Just open your eyes and ears. Me? I guess you can look me up on Facebook. And Amazon.
Yeah, you have a special on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Amazon.
Boa Lambus.
Yeah, Boa Lambus.
What's your special called for those looking for new things to watch in quarantine?
Yeah, it's called The Big Three.
It has an explicit sticker on it, just so you know.
And an Oreo on the cover.
Well, we're gonna have to slap an explicit tag on ours anyway, because
that's fine. I guess
I made some jokes or something. I'm tired, guys. I have cabin fever. It's a thing.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of Marital Tiffs.
If you
Thanks
guys
for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. We loved having you guys on. I think that was a really interesting conversation. And if anybody listening out there has any of their own stories that they want to share about dating in quarantine or being in a relationship during quarantine. Any advice, any things they want to complain about, we're here to listen to you.
You can weigh in on all social media at Marital Tiffs on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also email us at maritaltiffs@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe anywhere you find your podcast. If you're an Apple Podcast listener, please rate and review us. You can find us on the 910 Comedy Podcast Network. Check out 910 Comedy on Facebook and check out our sister shows, Minda's shows, That's Just My Face and Dead Girls Talking, and my other show, Hometown Crowd. Thanks for listening to Marital Tiffs, and thank you, Minda and Bo, for joining us.
Thanks.
Have a good night.